Sometimes the crypto space is just stranger than fiction. Imagine being an early adopter of new technology and then boom, $10,000 or more gets instantly deposited into your wallet overnight. I know that sounds absolutely insane and too good to be true, but this has actually happened to me multiple times. Well, how? Well, with some of the biggest crypto airdrops in the entire Web 3.0 space, where Web 3.0 projects retroactively new users just for getting in early. And so if you want to get in on these airdrops, then unfortunately you can't get a time machine and go back and, claim these and actually be the early adopter. But the next best thing is to find new projects that might do an airdrop in the future and start using them. And so that's exactly what I'm going to talk about in this video today as a blockchain developer who works this technology on a daily basis and also a multi-time airdrop recipient myself. Some of the top candidates that might do an airdrop in the future and how to position yourself for that. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to know how to master blockchain step-by-step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so let's get into this. Let's talk about some of the top candidates for crypto airdrops and how to position yourself for one of these. So just a quick recap on how this works if you're totally brand new. Well, I'll tell you how I've been the recipient of this in the past, what the textbook lay is for this, so that you can sort of reverse engineer this and create a plan for yourself going forward that, I would do. So let's set the stage first. Let's talk about, some of the biggest crypto airdrops, how they worked and how other airdrops are likely to work in the future. So let's talk about some of the ones that I've personally been a part of. So let's take, Uni Swap, for example. This was one of the first big ones, okay? So basically, Uni Swap is a decentralized cryptocurrency exchange. You go to the website, you connect to it with a MetaMask, and you swap tokens, right? You tell a token you want to receive, click a button, and then you get it back. And it talks to smart contracts on the blockchain. So basically what Uni Swap did was they said, hey, we're going to launch a governance token called the Uni token. And then we're going to take a snapshot of everybody who had used Uniswap, actually just made a single transaction before a certain point in time, verified on the blockchain itself. So they took a snapshot of that, and then they said, hey, if you meet these criteria, just go to our website, click this button, and then you can claim, I think it was 400 free Uni tokens for every single wallet that you'd ever use Uniswap for. So I can't remember what the price was at the time, but I had used, Uniswap with enough different wallets that my airdrop was over 10K. And so the takeaway here was just using tech early and doing it with multiple accounts. And so the exact same thing happened for lots of other applications that follow the exact same playbook, like 1inch Exchange. ENS did the same type of thing, the Ethereum name service, DYDX. Basically, the common thread here is just go using stuff and then thinking about what are the potential variables that could multiply this, either multiple accounts, greater utilization, more transactions, all that type of stuff. All right, and so how do you position yourself for this type of thing? So I'll preface this by saying there's no guarantee and to know exactly who's going to do an airdrop next, but that's okay. You don't have to know. So the playbook here essentially for you as the user is to go out there and try as many new things as possible and sort of spray and pray and hope that one of them takes off. So think about it this way. It's going to cost you some money to do, but think about it like buying a lottery ticket. A lot higher odds that one of those tickets is actually going to be a winner. And this is like a big asymmetric bet where the amount of time and money that you could, invest in this, or the risk, the amount of units that you're risking, could have a huge upside if multiple airdrops actually end up happening. And so the methodology here is to get a hit list of a bunch of different candidates and then just systematically work your way through that entire list and, try to see which ones make the most sense to you from a cost basis. Let's say somebody needs you to buy an expensive NFT in order to get an airdrop, that's what Bored Ape Yacht Club just did. That's probably going to disqualify a lot of people from doing that type of thing, but that's okay. And then some applications may require you to make an expensive swap and you don't want to do that. That's okay too. But some are incredibly cheap where you can just, bridge over somewhere, maybe get onto a low cost chain or a layer 2 or something like that, and then just make a couple of transactions. And then, hey, if they airdrop, then that costs you a little bit of time and a little bit of money. So again, no guarantee, but that's how you do it. So let's jump into this list of potential candidates for airdrops. I'm going to show you a resource that you can use to put together a list for yourself. And also I'm going to talk about some of these in depth. All right. So here's a list of potential airdrops that could happen in the future. Okay. So I'm on this website, airdrops.io. This is not a sponsored video or anything like this. It's just a good resource to look at different applications that could be airdropping tokens in the future. Again, not a guarantee here, but let's talk about some potential candidates and how you can use them. So I just expanded the entire list here, and I'm just going to scroll to the bottom. So one of the first major candidates that lots of people are talking about is MetaMask itself. So MetaMask is, a little fox icon in your browser. If you're using a Dapp, it's the most popular wallet, especially on EVM compatible chains. And so we've seen talks of this. We've seen like little nuggets floating around online about a mask token in the future. Okay, so MetaMask could be a huge one. Now, there's the question of like, if you're a MetaMask user, how are they actually going to like figure out who's eligible? Okay, are they actually going to use the blockchain to do it, or are they just going to take data from MetaMask? Well, lots of people think that essentially you need to use MetaMask's swap feature inside of it. So basically in MetaMask, you can actually trade on a DEX, and that's actually going to take make a transaction on the blockchain itself, where it knows that you used MetaMask to do that. Okay. And so that's the most likely way that you would position yourself for an airdrop from MetaMask if they were to do it. Because if you're just making transactions, then they may not be able to take a snapshot from the blockchain itself, because there's no way for MetaMask to know that you sent that transaction from MetaMask whenever you just like send cryptocurrency from one wallet to another or trade on Uni Swap. All right, so I'm gonna keep scrolling through this list here. So OpenSea is definitely another big one that people are speculating could have an airdrop in the future. So the competition is actually heating up in the NFT marketplace space. So, okay, if you're not familiar, like OpenSea is the biggest NFT marketplace out there. So how would you position yourself for this? Basically, just buying or selling an NFT on OpenSea, the website itself, just connecting your MetaMask, buying an NFT. You could or you can sell an NFT. You can go mint one and then try to sell it on OpenSea. That's a way where you could get, double the odds that you might make some money. Okay. And let's say the NFT that you minted didn't actually sell for a profit, then you have limited downside risk by OpenSea, airdropping you an NFT in the future. So those people think that OpenSea might be a prime candidate for an airdrop. And I've started to say this a minute ago, but kind of interrupted myself, is that the NFT marketplace space is starting to really heat up. The competition is. We're seeing new NFT marketplaces come onto the scene and try to eat up some of that market. And there's a possibility that OpenSea could launch a token to help retain some of its users. All right, so another potential airdrop recipient is ZK Sync. I actually did a video on this on my channel a couple weeks back, so definitely go subscribe. I'm going to be making more videos talking about how to use these products individually, but go actually watch the ZK Sync video. It's going to show you step by step on how to do this. So what is it? Well, ZK Sync is a layer 2 scaling solution for Ethereum. So the action here is basically just using it. So you have to use a bridge in most cases to get over to ZK Sync. There are some exchanges that support withdrawals, but most people aren't going to be using that exchange. So you could just take some funds and bridge it over there, okay? And then just make transactions on, any application, all right? And then that could position you for a potential airdrop there. All right, so go check out that video. It's going to show you exactly how to do it. All right, so another layer 2 actually that comes up as I'm scrolling on the list is Optimism. So Optimism is basically another layer 2 scaling solution built on top of Ethereum. It's kind of like its own blockchain that's secured by Ethereum itself. And so it's got an entire network of applications on it, just like ZK Sync does. It works a little bit differently. Optimism is optimistic rollups. ZK Sync is ZK rollups. But anyways, how could you position yourself for an airdrop on Optimism? Well, basically, the suggestion here is to use the bridge. So if you go to Optimism's website, you can probably click through on this link here. There's going to be a bridge which lets you move funds from one blockchain over to Optimism, probably from Ethereum up to the optimistic rollups layer itself. And so using that bridge and then getting into the Optimism ecosystem is probably going to do a good job for positioning you for that airdrop as well. Now, I'd probably go the extra mile and try to actually use some applications on Optimism. That would also have some additional upside potential because, hey, there could be applications of the ecosystems that also do airdrops. So the more, the better. So some of the other applications in your Poly market is a predictions market, okay? And so actually I see another thing on here. Let me kind of combine both these together. So Poly market is a predictions market. Open is an options trading protocol. So there's probably gonna be a lot of people watching this video that don't really understand like how options trading works or even how, predictions markets work. So, okay, you don't have to understand how these things work in order to use these applications. I would just go to the website and, basically just read some basic instructions on what to do and then just make the transactions. Like, even if you don't make a profitable options trade or you don't, know how to use a predictions market and actually be successful with it, the whole goal is that you're just using the application. And hey, that could lead to a greater understanding and maybe you actually start using them and become profitable with the primary use cases of the apps. But you don't have to be an expert just to make some transactions to position yourself for a drop. All right, so Arbitrum is another layer 2 scaling solution for Ethereum. Same idea here. Use the bridge to get up to Arbitrum, all right, to position yourself for an airdrop there. And then also make some transactions on the Arbitrum network itself. That's going to increase the likelihood that you're going to get an airdrop, both from Arbitrum and also any potential applications that you use on that layer 2 scaling solution as well. So I see some other applications that work pretty similar inside of here. So like Zapper Finance, I see a couple DeFi savers, Zapper, Zerion. So a lot of these are like DeFi, like dashboards or like portfolio apps where you can like mix and match a lot of different DeFi strategies all in one place and like look at your funds. So definitely go check out those websites. Zapper is a really popular one. So making a swap looks like the most likely recommendation for these, like Zerion, Zapper, and DeFi Saver. There's other things you can do with those apps, but definitely check out that action because that's the recommendation here. So some other applications inside of here, Phantom. It's the wallet that's primarily for the Solana ecosystem. So it also has a swap mechanism inside of it as well. So making a swap on Phantom is probably the most likely way to position yourself for an airdrop there. If you make a swap, I mean, you make a transaction and you make a swap, it's sort of like, it's going to increase the likelihood way even more. So DBank as well, a website that lets you, check wallets, look at yields, but it also does things like it has a swap feature inside of it as well. So making a swap on DBank is going to be the most likely way to position yourself for airdrop there. Hop Protocol is a bridge that lets you get off of layer 2s onto different blockchains. So the whole idea is to bypass the withdrawal time for getting off of some of these layer 2s or onto different blockchains. And so they have a bridge. And so basically how you position yourself for airdrop there is to just use that bridge as well. So Token Sets is an application that lets people create baskets of tokens that you can buy with a single token. So think about it like an index fund where you can take a bunch of different, coins and put them all into one coin and then just buying one coin. And now you have exposure to all these different coins because, you don't necessarily want to bet on one coin in and of itself. Okay. It's got, some risk advantages there. It also has, advantages if somebody else is rebalancing the portfolio of that coin, then you're not actively buying and selling inside of there. You're just holding one coin, which has a ton of benefits in and of itself. Of course, not tax advice, but that's one of the benefits. And so how can you position yourself for this? Well, just use the basic functionality of the app. Create a set or buy a set. So Sablier Finance, streaming money. So basically think about, basically automatically paying somebody's, paycheck every month or something like that. That's a use case for something like Sablier. So how would you position yourself something like this? Stream money to somebody else. Argent is a mobile wallet. Okay. So it's a mobile wallet that integrates DeFi natively. It has a swap feature on it. You can use other applications on the back end. Okay. So how would you position yourself for an Argent airdrop? Well, you first want to download the wallet itself onto your mobile phone. And then you want to make a swap inside the application. Okay. All right. So this list keeps going on and on, but that's a pretty quick overview of some of the top contenders for airdrops in the space. So again, there's no guarantee that any of the apps that I just talked about are actually going to do airdrops in the future. But this is like a list that I hear other people talking about a lot. I've seen it on this site as well. And I want to bring this to you as a resource so that you can take a look at this and explain, each of these and how you would increase the likelihood that you'd be eligible for one of these. And so again, the strategy here is to take a look at each of these and figure out, which ones can I make transactions on and just use a lot of different stuff to increase the likelihood. And you could just do that a little bit over time. And, you definitely be careful with this type of stuff. You don't want to risk any money that you can't afford to lose because it, of course, costs money to do this stuff. And there's no guarantee that you're ever going to get any of that back. But even if one of these things takes off, it very well could be worth the time and the amount of money that it takes to experiment with this stuff. And the other limited downside for this type of risk, and this is the type of thing that I always stress on my channel, is like, you want to think about things in terms of risk or reward. At the end of the day, the most downside that you possibly have is that you learned something in this process. You learned about how to use this technology. You might find out a new opportunity that you didn't ever know about before had you not gone down this process. And so there's a ton of learning opportunities involved. You're going to see where this technology is headed, and that's going to give you a huge informational advantage for who knows what else. All right, so that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so the more people can learn about blockchain. And if you're as fast with the technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I can show you how to become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. And until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.